video. I'm here again with Grant, and we've got a different topic for you today. Today we're going to be covering the lower body. We got some questions about ACL tears, patella tendon tears, and some other stuff too. So I'm just going to reel the questions off, and we're going to. What's the title again, Grant?
Hold on.
Staff announcement, can all available recreation assistants please go to the competition pool? Thank you.
Not bad. WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
Functional rehab coach.
Functional rehab coach, I keep forgetting it.
Yeah.
But Grant is a functional rehab coach. He knows his stuff, so we're going to go through stuff with the lower body. So the first question, well, two questions kind of in one from Will Burden. He said, probably very specific, but best exercises for strengthening knees, especially following a patella tendon tear surgery. What should I focus on in the gym? And then he said about building mass back in that withered leg following the injury.
With any kind of leg stuff, a lot of people will constantly work bilaterally, meaning they work both legs every time they train. So they'll typically do stuff like squats, they'll do jump squats, they'll do lunges. And lunges are a good way to kind of rehab certain things depending on the injury. Particularly with patella, I mean, anything surrounding the knee, what you want to really look at is what's called proprioception. Proprioception is basically, it's kind of like your ability to kind of balance, this kind of spatial awareness, that kind of stuff. You're trying to basically work lightly. So literally just standing on one leg will gradually build strength. And you're not strengthening the knee itself, you're strengthening the structures to support the knee. Stuff like ligaments and tendons, and obviously your quad calf, all that kind of stuff. So in regards to like strengthening like anything in regards to legs, just focus on single leg stuff. So even if you just do like single leg hamstring curl, single leg extension, that kind of stuff will really help in rehabbing that leg to get it strong. So ideally what you want to do is have the strong leg coast. It should be easy, it should be simple. You know, it shouldn't really struggle. And you're working the same capacity that the bad leg is. So start off, with the leg, that's the leg you start on, all single leg stuff, and then you basically train the other leg the same way and just let it cruise. Just let it just chill and do its thing. Just make sure you train it evenly. Don't do things like heavier weights for one leg. You will have a difference in size. So just make sure you train the same weights on both legs, but you base that off the weak leg.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got going here from Grayson Reeves. He said, rehab pre-surgery for an ACL meniscus tear. Looking to mix things into my gym routine now.
So meniscus is really specific. So it is, truthfully, with meniscus, I'd recommend you see a physio, or if you'd rather just come in and we can go over that stuff. But it's so specific. It's not as easy as like, right, here's a blanket coverage thing. ACL tears, they're a little bit more simple. Over a gradual time, you would have found that depending on the tear, you can kind of just get back to normal health just by doing it day to day. However, it kind of goes back to the first question of you want to be able to basically do the proprioception work. Anything ACL, PCL, MCL, those three things you want to focus on proprioception work. And you can do dynamic stuff as well, so it's not just standing on a single leg, you can do stuff like standing and reaching. So there's a few little movements I do with a lot of clients who just basically just get them to stand on one leg and put my hand in different positions, and they're reaching, and it's basically putting more stress on different ligaments essentially.
Yeah.
So again, it's like we said in the lower back pain stuff, it's basically getting your body used to being in those positions and familiarizing your ligaments and tendons and even your muscles to be in those positions so they adapt.
We got one from Gemma. Tips to stop knees moving inwards.
There's a bit of a myth with this. People often think that when they see people squat and their knees drop in, there's a really dangerous thing. It isn't. There's no recorded long-term injury from what's called knee valgus. So knee valgus is your knees kind of pushing in. And it's very, very common. My knees do it here and there. My only advice for that is to be very conscious of it. Like, it's not a danger. It just looks a bit unpretty. It can be a little bit uncomfortable here and there. It will kind of affect your strength and stuff like squats, because ideally, you want the base support. Like essentially, if you imagine like strong pillars, you don't want pillars that lean in. You want pillars that are perfectly straight, pushing up. So ideally, one thing I do is I put bands around his knees to try and basically make him consciously push out. Obviously, again, make sure your glutes are active, and that'll play a massive part. But one thing that people really overlook is called your peroneus, and that's basically like the calf muscle that's on the side there, and most people undertrain it to hell. And if that isn't developed, you'll basically end up with what's called flat foot, so your feet kind of turn in. So when you train your peroneus, you your feet will kind of naturally push to the sides. So you ideally want a foot, like the arch of your foot. With that, you want to make sure that's prominent. If that isn't existing, that's why your knees will pull in.
Right.
And if that's there, the most likely solution is your hip mobility. What we'll probably find is your internal rotation of your hip is really inhibited. So you need to make sure you're working on your hip mobility, which we covered kind of in the lower back one as well.
Video, yeah.
But that's essentially it. There's nothing to worry about. It's just basically that probably your perineus or the arch of your foot or your hip mobility isn't, exactly great. It will come over time. Just work on those things. If you need more tips about that, just give me a shout.
This one's from Reese.
I know Reese. Good lad.
Avoid dealing with leg, thigh, calf cramp when it happens. How to identify if a muscle is sore or if it is an issue with the bone around that area. Recovering lower back spine when having issues. We did that video, so check that out, Reese.
Previous video.
And then recovering legs, calves, thighs when working them a whole lot. General tips to help recover muscles if overworking any during particular sessions.
So firstly, I think I'll cover the cramp issue, because cramp, it can be, some people do suffer with more than others. Cramp is typically related to a lack of potassium. If you want to decrease the amount of cramp you're having, I personally don't eat them a hell of a lot, but if you eat a lot more bananas, they're very high in potassium and they deal with cramp really well. Most likely reason you have cramp is that they're overactive, and that's where you're kind of talking about like the muscle soreness. The only thing I have advice of muscle soreness, and this goes for all people who train in any way, shape or form, is you need to rest. Simple as that. Is if you're not sleeping well, you're basically not gonna get any gains as such. You will feel fatigued faster. If you aren't sleeping properly, and I know there's a lot of people who have like insomnia, they'll have cramps as well. Just make sure you're trying to hit that 7 to 8 hour bit of rest. There's some really good stuff. There's a doctor, I can't remember his name. He's basically a doctor of sleep. If you just type in doctor of sleep on Google, you'll probably find some good stuff over there. But there's more and more evidence regarding rest as a recovery tool, as opposed to nutrition and the ways that you train. Most likely, if you are getting serious cramps and you're finding that you're not recovering, like within about a 2-day period at least, it's most likely you're not eating enough, you're probably not sleeping well enough, and yeah, it's probably just those two things. Yeah. In regards to like the soreness of a muscle or a bone, I mean, I would hope that you kind of, your body, you're kind of self-aware enough that you kind of go, right, that if you have like a bone pain, you will know. Like,
yeah.
If you've ever broken anything, for even just a minor fracture, like you will know. Any muscular soreness, there's a huge disparity in the pain of those two things. So, if you are unsure, again, just come chat to me. Like, I'm pretty sure you'd be switched on enough to kind of figure that out for yourself.
That's all the questions.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask Grant any more questions, I've still got the email from the last video, so put that on the screen. You can also hit him up on IG as well. So I'll put that on the screen as well. So get at Grant. If you have any questions, if you want a free consultation or something, get in touch. Come to the international pool and get seen.
Is there a subscribe thing? Do we point to that, or do we just not do that? We don't do that.
No,
I think we discussed that last time.
I'll just say subscribe to the video. Yeah. So
we're not that level yet. We're not that.
It'll come on the end screen. There'll be like a little thing, and they can click my picture, and it'll come up with a video, and it also says next video to watch.
Oh.
So it might come up with the last video if they haven't seen this one.
I was watching your stuff the other day, meant good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, high profile stuff. I was watching that video of Hitch in the car park.
Yeah.
2,000 years later, good.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Sweet banter. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well. Not just for me, but for Grant's time too. Just make it worth it. Like,
appreciate it, guys.
Thumbs up, yeah. Keep your eyes peeled for the next one, where we'll cover the upper body.
So.